Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from Technical Beings.
Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we will be looking into a very important topic, and that is RAID. To know what type of RAID levels are used, it is very important for a system administrator. So let's get started. What is RAID? RAID is a redundant array of inexpensive disks, but nowadays it is called a redundant array of independent drives. Earlier it used to be very costly to buy even a smaller size of disk, but nowadays we can buy a large size of disk with the same amount like before. RAID is just a collection of disks in a pool to become a logical volume. So it means multiple disks are used and they are arranged as a logical volume so that we can use it the way we want. RAID contains group or sets or arrays. A combination of drives make a group or disk to form a RAID array or RAID set. So it can be a minimum of 2 number of disks connected to a RAID controller and make a logical volume, or more drives can be in a group. Only one RAID level can be applied in a group of disks. RAIDs are used when we need excellent performance. According to our selected RAID level, performance will differ, saving our data by fault tolerance and high availability. So let's have a look onto the software RAID and hardware RAID. What is software RAID? Software RAID have low performance because of consuming resource from host. RAID software need to load for read data from software RAID volumes. Before loading RAID software, operating system need to get boot to load the RAID software. No need of physical hardware in software RAIDs, and there is zero cost investment. When it comes to hardware RAID have higher performance. They are dedicated RAID controller which is physically built using PCI Express cards. It won't use the host resource. They have NVRAM for cache to read and write. Stores cache while rebuild. Even if there is power failure, it will store the cache using battery power backups. One thing to note that it is very expensive, a type of high investment which is needed for a large scale organization mostly. So this is how a hardware RAID card looks like. This is just for the reference, and I have put this picture to know if you have this thing in the mind how it might be looking. So this is how it looks. Coming to the features and concepts of RAID, so these are some, I have listed some of the features and the concepts. Coming to the first one, that is parity. Parity method in RAID regenerate the lost content from parity saved informations, and parity is mostly used in RAID 5, RAID 6. These type of RAID levels are based on parity. Stripe means sharing data randomly to multiple disks. This won't have full data in a single disk. If we use 3 disks, half of our data will be in each disk. Then coming to mirroring, is used in RAID 1 and RAID 10, also called as RAID 10. Mirroring is making a copy of same data. That means if you have the data in one disk, the exactly similar data will be stored in the another disk. In RAID 1, it will save the same content to the other disk too. Hot spare is just a spare drive in a server which can automatically replace the failed drives. So this is also called as fault tolerance. In case one of our disk breaks down, in that case the spare disk will come into the picture and the data will be available. If any one of the drive fail in our array, this hot spare will be used and rebuilt automatically. Chunks are just a size of data which can be minimum from 4 KB and more. By defining chunk size, we can increase the input output performance. So these are some of the most widely used RAID 0, RAID 1. RAID 0 is striping, RAID 1 is mirroring, RAID 5 is single disk distributed parity, RAID 6 is double disk distributed parity, RAID 10 or 10 is combination of mirror and stripe and also called as nested RAID. RAID are managed using MDADM package in most of the Linux distribution. So let us get a brief look into each RAID levels. But before moving forward, there was a video that I have created in Linux interview question answer series. If you haven't watched that series or video, I'll put the video into the description. In that video, I have mentioned that RAID is a topic that cannot be concluded or that cannot be finished into 1 or 2 slides. That will require at least a video on that, a dedicated video. That is the reason I'm creating this. So I'll put that link into the description. You can go and watch that videos as well. So moving forward, coming to RAID 0, that is striping. Striping provides an excellent performance. In RAID 0, the data will be written to disk using shared method. Half of the content will be in one disk and other half will be written to the other disk. So let us assume we have 2 disks. For example, if we write data technical to a logical volume, it will be saved in this manner, that is T will be saved in first disk and E will be saved in the second disk. C will be saved in the first disk and H will be saved in the second disk, and this is how it will continue in round robin procedure. In this situation, if any one of the drive fails, we will lose our data, because with half of data from one of the disks can't be used to rebuild the entire RAID. But while comparing write speed and performance speed, RAID 0 is excellent. So this thing I have highlighted in bold so that you keep this thing in mind, that write speed and performance of RAID 0 is excellent. We need at least minimum 2 disks to create RAID 0. If you need your valuable data, don't use this RAID level, because your data will be lost. If one of your disk fails, it gives you high performance. There is zero capacity loss in RAID 0. Zero fault tolerance. Fault tolerance that I've earlier told you that it is something that if your one disk fails, the other disk is present or the data will be recovered, but in this case it is not happening. Write and read will have good performance. So this is the picture just for your reference. This is how RAID 0 looks. These are the blocks and how the striping is done throughout the procedure and through the disk. This is how it looks. RAID 1 or mirroring. Mirroring also has good performance. Mirroring can make a copy of same data what we have. Mirroring, like the name is a self-explanatory, because if you have a data in a disk, the exactly same data will be saved or stored into the another disk. Assuming we have 2 TB hard drives, total there we have 4 TB, but in mirroring, while the drives are behind the RAID controller to form a logical drive, only we can see the 2 TB of logical drive. While we save any data, it will write to both 2 TB drives. Minimum 2 drives are needed to create a RAID 1 or mirror. If a disk failure occurred, we can reproduce the RAID set by replacing a new disk. The only reason is we have the same data stored in the another disk. If one disk fails in RAID 1, we can get the data from other one, as there was a copy of the same content in the other disk. So there is zero data loss, good performance. Here half of the space will be lost in the total capacity. Full fault tolerance. Full fault tolerance means your data is always available. Rebuild will be faster. Writing performance will be slow. The reason is the data is written in both the disk. Similar data is written. Reading speed will be good. And this is how RAID 1 looks. These are the primary disk and these are the mirror disk. Both the disks have exactly similar content. That means if you have the disk of 4 TB, only 2 TB of data can be used and half of the data will be lost. Half of the space will be lost. The data will be there. The exact amount of data is stored in both the arrays. Coming to RAID 5 or distributed parity, is mostly used in enterprise levels. It works by distributed parity method. Parity info will be used to rebuild the data. It rebuilds from the information left on the remaining good drives. This will protect our data from drive failure. So let's assume that we have 4 drives. If one drive fails and while we replace the failed drive, we can rebuild the replaced drive from parity's information. Parity information are stored in all 4 drives. If we have 4 number of 1 TB hard drive, the parity information will be stored in 256 GB in each drive and other 768 GB in each drive will be defined for user. RAID 5 can survive from a single disk failure. Survive from the single disk failure means if your one disk is failed, the entire data will be still available. So there is no loss of data, excellent performance, reading will be extremely very good in speed, writing will be average, slow if we won't use a hardware RAID controller, rebuild from parity information from all drives, full fault tolerance, that is if full fault tolerance means that if your disk fails then also the entire data is available. One disk fails, one disk space will be under parity, can be used in file servers, web servers and important backups. And this is how RAID 5 looks. Here we are using the 4 disks in different arrays, and if you see there is a parity shown in the all the arrays, and in this parity the data, the small amount of data is always stored over here. Coming to RAID 6, 2 parity distributed disk. RAID 6 is same as RAID 5 with 2 parity distributed system. Mostly used in large number of arrays. We need minimum 4 drives. Even if there 2 drive fails, we can rebuild the data while replacing new drives. So in RAID 5 only if 1 drive fails the entire data can be recovered, but here if 2 drive fails then also the entire data can be recovered. It is slower than RAID 5 because it writes data to all 4 drives at the same time. We will be average in speed while using a hardware RAID controller. If we have 6 numbers of 1 TB hard drives, so 4 drives will be used for data and 2 drives will be used for parity. The performance is poor as compared to RAID 5. Read performance will be good. Write performance will be poor if we are not using a hardware RAID controller. Rebuild from 2 parity drives. Full fault tolerance, that means if 2 disks are failed then also you can recover all your data, you can get all your data. 2 disk space will be under parity, can be used in large arrays, can be used in backup purpose, video streaming, used in large scale. And this is how it is used. We have here, if you can see the array, and in each array the 2 of the disks are used for that is the reason it is called as double distributed parity. In this array, in all the disks, 2 of the disks are used for parity, so that in case if 2 disks also fails, the entire data can be recovered. Coming to RAID 10 or mirror or stripe, it is also called as nested RAID. This will do both work of mirroring and striping. Mirror will be first and stripe will be the second in RAID 10. Stripe will be the first and mirror will be the second in RAID 01. RAID 10 is better comparing to 01. So let's assume we have 4 number of drives. While I am writing some data to my logical volume, it will be saved under all 4 drives using mirror and stripe methods. So if I am writing a data technical in RAID 10, it will save the data as follow. First, it will write the T to both the disk, and second E will write to the both the disk. This step will be used for all data write. It will make a copy of every data to other disk too. Same time it will be used in RAID 0 method and write data as T will be written to the first disk, E will be written to the second, again C will be written to the first disk and H to the second disk. So this is how it will work in RAID 0. In this type of RAID level we get good read and write performance. Half of the space will be lost in total capacity. Fault tolerance we will get. Fast rebuild from copying data and can be used in database storage for high performance and availability. So this is how RAID 10 is used. First, if you can see, RAID 0 is used and below with the disk RAID 1 is used, and as we know 0 is for striping and 1 is for mirroring, so there we get a good performance of read and write, also fault tolerance. So most of the companies prefer this for database purpose because the entire data is recovered. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any new updates, because I'll be coming up with these type of videos very often and your support will motivate me to make more videos. Alright then, see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.